Hello student, how are you? I hope you are fine. So children, once again I am here going to teach you the same lesson which I started yesterday, a visit to Cambridge. Now children, before beginning the lesson, definitely I always start my class with some motivational word. So what I am thinking to tell you today is that failure is a one step towards success. Never mind what has happened. Never mind if you have failed anything. Now children, let me tell you one thing. Failure doesn't mean failure as an academic part. It can be in anything. Suppose if you want to learn a badminton and you lose a match, you are selected as a captain of the badminton team for your school, but you are failure there. So that doesn't mean that you will dishearten yourself, sit, cry, okay, blaming others, blaming God. No, you have to try that what you will be. You have to make your plan, how you're going to play, what difficulties you face, what were your drawback, isn't it? So failure doesn't mean that you have failed in Hindi or English or maths or science. Okay. So children, today's video, I told you there were two persons, okay, but they are leading their life very bravely. Children, both the persons are physically disabled. So instead of being failure in life, they are moving ahead and gaining victory everywhere. Okay, so children, it doesn't mean that if you're not good in something, okay, or if you are physically disabled, something is there in your life, that doesn't mean. If you want to achieve something, move ahead, grab it, be a winner, and then you see how happy you will feel. So children, in this lesson which I am going to do today is from the book Honeydew. It is chapter 7 and the name of the lesson is A Visit to Cambridge. First of all, children, you should know what is a Cambridge. Cambridge is a university in England. It's a very famous university like Oxford. I think you people must have heard the name of Oxford also. So Cambridge and Oxford are in England. They are the two most famous universities of the world. Now it is written, this lesson is written about Firdaus Ganga. He is the person who has written the lesson. Children, the best thing is that he is the person who writes the letter and he writes the lesson and he is writing about himself only. Okay. And he is described here about a meeting. The whole lesson is about a meeting between two people. And both were handicapped. Both were physically disabled. One is Firdaus Ganga himself. He is a writer. He is a journalist from Mumbai. And children, when he was born, his bones were so weak that doctor told, hey, if he will stand and he will fall down, suppose he fall down, the whole bone, the main bone, and the backbone, if it will break, then he would not able to stand. So he was advised that wherever he should go, just because he had a weak bone, fragile bone. What is the meaning of fragile? Yesterday I told you. Anybody remembers? Yes, fragile means that it easily can be broken. Like glass is a fragile substance. What is a glass? It is a fragile. Fragile means that can easily be broken. So his bone was also, the doctor advised him that he had always, whenever he had to go outside, he had to take the support of wheelchair. And children, the meeting between the other person who met him, in fact he came to meet him was a professor in a Cambridge University, and he sat on that very chair where Newton used to sit. He was very intelligent, but children, you will be shocked to know that he was also physically handicapped. His whole body was paralyzed. He was not able to stand, even his hand, he was not able to speak also. Forget stand, he was not able to speak. His only finger was working. He had a computer which used to speak for him. Okay, so in that way he used to do the communication. He used to communicate, he used to interact with other people. So such was these two persons. What I feel, they were really very great because both were handicapped. In fact, they thought if some other person would have been in their place, they would have seen the face of failures in their life. But these two people, they forgot everything. Though they were on wheelchair, one was not able to stand, the other whole body was paralyzed, but they were best in their fields. So that's why I told failure is a step towards success. If you are failing somewhere and if you want to do something in your life, it means that you are a winner in your life. So children, with this, I start my lesson. What is the name of the lesson? A visit to a Cambridge. And children, yesterday, I think I have read some of the paragraph also. Okay. So, I think I have read page number 100, I think I have read. Okay. So, what is the name of the other person? Who was a scientist and who was not able to get up. So, it was Stephen Hawking. This is the name of the other person. He is Stephen Hawking. Well, children, I think I've told you about him, that he was a worthy successor of the great scientist Newton, and in whose chair he was sitting. And children, he was so impressed that he went to meet him from India. He had also written one book, he was the author of A Brief History of Time. One of the biggest bestseller ever lived there, and I think I will not tell you now the meaning of bestseller. Yesterday I already discussed the meaning of bestseller with you. Well, children, with a great difficulty, he got an appointment. Okay, for half an hour, Firdaus got an appointment to meet him, but he was so much impressed by Firdaus that instead of half an hour, he had given 1 hour. He showed his garden, he had a tea with him. So it was a pleasant surprise for Firdaus also. Children, I am here at page number 101 and the first paragraph I have completed. Now I will be explaining you the second paragraph of the lesson. And suddenly I felt weak all over, growing up disabled. Now children, poor fellow, both were working very hard. Both have to tolerate a lot of pressure because they were disabled person. Now, since he had traveled a lot, so he was feeling weak because of tiredness. Growing up disabled, you get fed up with people asking you to be brave. And children, the worst thing he liked when any people used to advise him, when they saw him that he is physically handicapped, they used to advise him, oh, be brave. Oh, face the light boldly. So this motivational word, he did not like it. So he is telling you, get fed up with people asking you to be brave, as if you have courage account on which you are too lazy to draw a check. The only thing that makes you stronger is seeing somebody like you. So he is telling children, he feel that he will become stronger when he see somebody like him. Now what do you mean by somebody like him? That means he himself was a handicapped person and he wants some other person that he should be handicapped as well as he should be expert in his field. And such person he had met today, and that was the great scientist Stephen Hawking. And children, when after meeting you will gain enough energy, and in fact children, you will also be motivated, you will be impressed, you will be inspired by the other person. Then you know how much is possible and you reach out further than you ever thought you could. And children, of course, whatever your aim of life was, you will reach much farther than your goal. I haven't been brave. Now children, when he asked him, when he started taking his interview with those, he asked him that how you manage your life so nicely in a so brave manner. He told, I haven't been brave. He told, no, I'm not a brave person. Said his disembodied computer voice. Disembodied, children, means existing without body. Children, why this word is written existing without body, disembodied? Means children, his whole body was paralyzed. His body was like simply a box in which a soul was there and a mind was there. His body was useless. Even his body, through that body, he was not able to speak also. Only he used to shake some of his finger, and the computer which he was an expert, that computer he used to speak. So he told, I am not a brave person, but circumstances and situation has made me brave. Yes, one thing was there, I hate failures in life. I always move towards, I always dream and I always move towards the path which leads to success. And he told that he don't have any other options also. Do or die. He did not want to die just because of his handicap. Surely I wanted to say, leaving creativity with the reality of his disintegrating body was a choice. Children, disintegrating is the decay. Now children, definitely living with such type of body in such a wonderful manner, it was chosen by him only. I told you, if any other person would have been in his place, what he would have done? He would have died. But I kept quiet because I felt guilty every time I spoke to him, forcing him to respond. Now children, here he is feeling guilty conscious. Why he is feeling guilty conscious? Because he is thinking that after working for hours, he had only given in half an hour, but he is asking and asking and he is going on replying his question. So how much? And children, he cannot speak also. He had to think and he had to move his finger. He used to write through his finger, he used to type the words on the computer which he wanted to speak, and that computer was speaking for him. So he is thinking how much exertion he must be taking just to reply his question, and he started feeling that he is a guilty conscience. He is troubling him. And I spoke to him, forcing him to respond. He is speaking to him, and just because he had to answer his question, he is forcing him to respond. There he was, tapping at the little switch in his hand. Now children, how he was responding? I told you his whole body was paralyzed. He was not able to speak. Only his fingers were there. Okay, and every so often his eyes would shut in frustrated exhaustion, and he felt that he was so tired. From morning till late night he used to work, that sometimes his eyes closed due to exhaustion. Exhaustion means very tired. And sitting opposite him, I could feel his anguish. Now children, he also felt the meaning of anguish is mental pain. You can write it, children. Mental pain. So he is telling the meaning of anguish is mental pain. The mind beyond with thoughts that came out in frozen phrases and sentences stiff as corpse. Beyond means intensively active and vibrant. You can see it is written in the gloss of your book. So he can feel that he is, though he is doing a lot of work, he keep himself so busy, but somewhere he is also suffering a mental pain in his, like him. And the mind beyond, the mind is quite active and vibrant, though the body is not at all active, 0% active, but the mind is very vibrant and very active with the thoughts that come out in frozen phrases and sentences, stiff as corpse. The thoughts were like stiff as corpse. What is a corpse? It is a dead body of a person. So his thought is compared. It was very cold thought he was having. Okay, no enjoyment, only work and work and work. Okay, and that too, children, his body was not able to get up. He was not able to take even a glass of water, though he was able to take, but through wheelchair. Now, a lot of people seem to think that disabled people are chronically unhappy. I said, I know that's not true myself. Are you often laughing inside? Now, in the interview, he had asked one very nice question to him. He told, a lot of people seem to think that disabled people are chronically unhappy. So he is thinking, very people think. In fact, they think only. And what do they think? That these people who are physically disabled, they are unhappy. I said, I know that's not true myself. Now he told me, since I'm also a disabled person, and it's not that I'm always unhappy. Though sometimes he feels that life has done a partial day, a special favor to someone else, and they are a bit weaker in a society. But then he never feel guilty conscious, he never feel bad, he never feel unhappy. Are you often laughing inside? So he told me, when anybody pities on me, I feel like laughing. About 3 minutes later, he responded. Now children, he used to respond not very quickly, and I told you children what he was doing. He was using his finger in the computer. He used to write it because he was not able to speak, and the computer used to speak on behalf of him. So about 3 minutes later, he responded, I find it amusing when people patronize me. Okay, again a new word is there in front of you, and what is that new word? Patronize. Okay, that is to protect anything unpleasant or irritating. So patronize means to feel unpleasant and irritating. So he also tell, of course, when people talk such type of thing, even he feels very irritated. And children, a new word he has used, I think you should also learn this word, patronize. And do you find it annoying when someone like me comes and disturb you in your work? Now he asked a very personal question. He told me, sir, even I have come to disturb a person like you who is always engaged in your work. So don't you feel angry that a person like me is coming and disturbing you when you are really busy in your life? The answer flashed. The computer flashed the answer. Yes. Then he smiled. His one-way smile. Now children, he was a paralytic person. His whole lips was not opening. Only he gave a smile which was only one-sided. So he smiled, and I knew without being sentimental or silly that I was looking at one of the most beautiful men in the world. Now children, he simply smiled. He told yes. His finger moved, wrote yes. The computer answered yes, and he smiled. Oh, fellow was not able to smile also. See, but then also he is so satisfied because children, he was number one in his work. He was not a failure. Okay, that's why I told you failure is one step towards success. Children, it is upon you that how you lead your life. Alright? If you will feel that your life has not given you anything, definitely every time you will feel sad. But if you will feel that life has given you everything, children, nobody is happy in this world. Nobody is fully satisfied in this world. And one thing, let me tell you, if you will do good thing, the life will reflect back the same thing. If you are satisfied, the life will reflect you satisfaction. If you are having evil thought, disturbing others, hurting others, being angry every time, children, the life will also give you the same expression. You will never be happy. Okay, so he, for the first time, though his whole body was paralyzed, he was not able to smile. He felt from inside, those that he is sitting in front of the most beautiful person in the world, because he is leading his life in a very beautiful manner. And children, the thing was that everything he was sharing in a very true, what to say, where he was not telling lie, very truly he was answering every question, very honestly he was answering every question which he was asking. It was glimpse of him in shocking, because his life is still photographed, as if all those pictures of him in magazine and newspaper had turned three-dimensional. Now children, if a people will see him, glimpse means look. What is the meaning of glimpse here, student? Look. So he is telling, if anybody will glimpse for the first time, he will be shocked, because he was not a beautiful man. He was he was physically handicapped. He was not able to stand. Okay, his lips were tilted because he was a paralytic person. All right, and if you will see, you will feel that only simply a three-dimensional photograph is kept there in front of you. Why? Because he was not able to move also. Only his finger, this portion of his hand used to move. Simply used to sit. Simply used to sit on the wheelchair. He was not able to smile, just like a Robert Hughes there. Now, then you see the head twisted sideways into Islam. And he saw that his head even twisted. Twisted means it just simply turned. This is twisted. He twisted his head. Okay, like this. That means he was not able to look back also properly. The torso shrunk inside the pale blue shirt. Torso is the upper part of the body. Torso is the upper part of the body. He was putting a pale blue shirt, the wasted legs, and children, his leg was not able to work. He was not able to stand also. That's why, children, this adjective is given to the leg, wasted leg. That means the leg were useless. They were not able to work. They were not able to do any work. So the legs were wasted. Well, what's happened next now? What he had asked, let me tell you. Then you see the head twisted sideways into Islam. The torso shrunk inside the pale blue shirt. Children, torso is the upper portion of the body. He was not able to sit in a tight manner straight. His shoulder is shrunk. Okay. The wasted legs. You look at his eyes, which can speak still, and they are saying something huge and urgent. Children, but there was a lot of expression in his eyes. If anybody would see his eyes, it was these eyes which we can feel is saying a lot of things. If you will look straight into his eyes, you can see that eyes want to say so much things to you all. Okay, you look at his eyes which can speak still, and they are saying something huge and urgent. And these eyes, they want to share something very huge, great thing and urgent thing. It is hard to tell what, but you are shaken because you have seen something you never thought could be seen. And children, people, the most wonderful people will also shake in front of his determination and hard work. So a handicapped person not able to move also, not able to move his, twist his neck portion also. Okay, he is shaking the other person. So, before you, like a lantern whose walls are worn so thin you glimpse only the light inside, is the incandescence of a man. Okay, a nice new difficult word, and how you will read first. Incandescence. Okay, a very difficult but very nice meaning. So let me write this word on the board, and you also have to write the meaning. So children, see the spelling. Incandescence means inner glow or light. Right? Children, he was a man, though people used to think he is worthless, he is useless, simply a handicapped person who is not able to support his own body, was having a lot of glow. Okay, lot of glow, inner glow and light coming from his body. The body almost irrelevant, exists only like a case made of shadows. If anybody would see his body, he will feel that it is simply a shadow, not able to move also by itself. Alright, so that I know believe in eternal soul. Now that this is what each of us is, everything else an accessory. Children, he is not believe in eternal soul. He know that both of them are simply handicapped but very brave from inside. Both of them have an eternal soul, and everything else an accessory. Children, whatever other things they were saying, the good personality of other people, they feel it is simply an accessory. Accessory means you can say it is written in the clause, not essential but extra, though decorative. I don't think there is anything good about being disabled. I think I said you do discover how much kindness there is in the world. So he's saying there is a lot of kindness in the world. Yes, he said. It was a disadvantage of his voice synthesizer that it could convey no inflection, no shade or tone, as I cannot tell how enthusiastically he agreed with me. Children, what is the meaning of enthusiastically? It means with zeal and enthusiasm. Right? So, children, how nicely he is telling everything to him. Every time I shifted in my chair or turned my wrist to watch the time, I wanted to make every one of our 30 minutes count. I felt a huge relief and acceleration in the possibilities. Acceleration means great joy. Children, with passing of every minute, he was feeling happy that he had got a wonderful chance to meet with such a great personality. How little it mattered then that I would never walk or even stand. Children, no matter, they were not able to stand, they were not able to walk. I told him how he had been an inspiration beyond for me and surely for others. Did that thought help me? So children, he told that fellow is not able to stand, but that fellow has become a source of inspiration for him. No, he said, and I thought how foolish I was to ask when your body is claustrophobic room. Claustrophobic is very difficult for children. The meaning is written here. I will read you and I will explain you. Claustrophobic means very small and suffocating. Okay, very small and suffocating. And claustrophobia is abnormal fear of being in an enclosed space. Children, when they are alone, when the people are helpless, nobody there to support him, all alone, taking help of the wheelchair. So sometimes children, they used to become claustrophobic. That means sometimes they used to feel alone, they used to feel suffocating. Okay, but he is telling, I never see you in such a condition. I feel you are breathing fresh in a fresh air. You are not feeling as if you are claustrophobic. Is there any advice you can give disabled people? something that might help make my life better. So children, finally he asked one question. He told me, I'm so much inspired, so much impressed with you. I also want that you should give some advice for disabled people like us. Maybe they might lead, with your words, they might lead their life better. They should concentrate on what they are good at. Now children, this is a very, very important line. In fact, this is the central idea of the whole lesson. He is telling, if you are good at something, concentrate on that. Don't think you are physically weak, you are physically disabled. Suppose your hands and legs are cut, but if you can sing in a nice manner, that don't cry that you have become handicapped. Just keep on trying, and one day you will become famous. The whole world will run after you, then you will become famous. So he is telling, in whatever thing you are good, just concentrate on that. Instead of thinking and blaming God and other people that you are a loser in your life. This is the children, this is the moral of the lesson here in this line, and this is the central idea of the lesson. I think things like the disabled Olympics are a waste of time. Now children, he also told that people are playing this Olympics, they are having this Olympics for the disabled people. He thinks that this is simply a waste of time. I know what you mean. I remember the years I would spend trying to play a Spanish guitar considerably larger than I was, and how gleefully I had unstring it one night. Gleefully is very happily. The half hour was up. I think I've annoyed you enough, I said, grinning, thank you for. Now children, he told the time, he asked for only half an hour, that was over, and grinning means children, give a broad smile. Well, he told, thank you for giving me your time. Okay, stay, I waited. Now he told, please stay, don't go. Have some tea, I can show you the garden. He told me, why don't we have some tea together? He was surprised children by his hostility. He was surprised by his good behavior, and he told, then after having your tea, I will show you the garden. The garden was as big as a park, nice, beautiful garden he had maintained like a park, but Stephen Hawkins covered every inch, and children, he went and showed every inch of the garden, rumbling along in his motorized wheelchair. How he went? With his wheelchair was motorized, a motor was there in the wheelchair. While I dodged to keep out of the way, we could not talk very much. The sun made him silent, the letter on his screen disappearing in the glare. Now children, the sun made him silent. He was not able to tolerate sun. He kept quiet. An hour later, we were ready to leave. Then children, again, half an hour plus half an hour again he passed with him. Now he was ready to leave. I could not kiss him or cry. Now children, when he was really feeling sad to leave such a nice person, but he did not cry. At the same time, he could not kiss him because he is also a handicapped person. I touched his shoulder and wheeled out into the summer evening. I looked back and I knew he was waving. He knew, he looked back and he was waving him goodbye. Though he wasn't, but he knew, he felt like that he must not be waving also, because why children? He was a handicap. He cannot even move his hand like this. Watching him, an embodiment of my bravest self, the one I was moving towards, the one I had believed in for so many years alone, I knew that my journey was over for now. Now children, he knew that he is one of the most wonderful, one of the most bravest men to whom he had met. And now, children, to meet him only he came from India to England. Now his journey is over and he is returning back. So children, with this, I conclude my lesson here. In my online class, students, we can discuss the question and answer. Alright, with this, I conclude my video here. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.